Welcome to Iron and Intention, where strength meets purpose. Today we're going to talk about living deliberately, physically, mentally, and professionally. We're going to talk discipline, wellness, and how small daily decisions shape every facet of your life and who you are. Today's episode's foundational. We'll build on this as we go along with each episode, but we're going to be talking about intentional living, that difference between motivation and discipline, and how positive habits create self-improvement in every area of your life. I'm joined today by Dennis Kleyh. Dennis is a law enforcement captain, a retired Marine Corps Sergeant Major, a combat vet, a rescue and recovery diver, and a personal trainer. Welcome, Dennis. Thanks for being here. So whenever you and I talk all the time and we talk a lot of fitness and wellness, but just start us off with, when you hear the phrase living with intention, what does that mean to you?
It's basically purposeful living, right? So making decisions in your daily life that set you up for success. Um, and it's little things. I mean, it's a lot of little things. It's like making your bed in the morning, right? Like if you make your bed in the morning, I think there was a Navy SEAL captain that wrote a book about all that, and I vaguely remember going across this podcast. But my mom always said, you make your bed in the morning, first thing you did, and that one thing you got accomplished that day can multiply into other things.
So it builds on it.
It does. It does. And I mean, even if you don't do anything more than make your bed that day, hey, guess what? You accomplished one thing,
You did. You
right?
did. Yeah. Sometimes that's the best you can hope
It
for.
is.
It's
Yeah.
those small daily things.
Yeah.
So, Dennis, we, as first responders and veterans and nurses and people in kind of our line of work, they live reactively. Why do you think that is?
It's just nature of the beast, I think. I feel like a lot of people get caught up in, letting life run them instead of them running their life.
Mhm.
And as tragic and sad as that is, it's just kind of reality. People and things take over with what you plan to do that day. Um, and then you end up reacting. By the end of the day, well, when you look back on it, you're like, oh man, my day was super busy with stuff I had no intention of doing. But the one thing I wanted to get done, I didn't get done,
Right.
you know? And
Yeah.
so I think that's the dichotomy. It's just, you know, uh, daily living, life.
Yeah. Do you think that sometimes people um act reactively, or they move through life reactively because they maybe lack clarity of purpose, clarity of what their mission is, what defining their why? Do you think any of that has anything to do with it?
Absolutely. I think it's, it's stress, the lack of purpose, lack of direction, the lack of planning, the lack of, I mean, look, we've all been there. We're human beings. There are periods in our life when we plan everything meticulously, and there are periods of life when we're just, for lack of a better way to put it, exhausted,
Yeah.
tired,
Yeah.
tired of dealing with it. And
Sure.
it's like, I'll take the day as it comes instead of I'll make the day what it is. And I think that's, you know, um, that autopilot thing, that's kind of what happens, right? It's like, man, today I just don't have it in me. I don't care. I'm just going to wake up, and whatever the day holds, I'm going to try and get to the point where I go to sleep. And then that's that. So yeah, I think all those things kind of provide a backdrop of being counterintuitive to intentional planning and purpose. So, I mean, we can all find excuses for not doing things,
Right.
right? I'm too tired. The kids are this, the dogs are that, the bills are piling up. Work was crappy today, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, if you let yourself go into that autopilot mode, you, you're letting life kind of dictate where you go instead of you
Yeah.
dictating where you go. So
Yeah. How do you personally, and I know that you have kind of a routine every day.
I do.
So, I mean, we develop those routines and that pursuit of excellence, a spot that none of us will ever reach, but we're still striving for that because we live intentionally. How do you get to that part, move out of that autopilot and into intentional? What's one thing somebody can do?
So, there was a saying I heard a long time ago in the Marine Corps, and it kind of goes like this, good prior proper planning prevents piss poor performance, right? It's the
Right.
7 Ps.
Sure.
Um, I have noticed personally, I'm sure you have, I know you have, I've seen it from all of us that work together. there are days that we plan out, or at least we kind of try to plan out what's going to come
Yeah.
up the
Yeah.
next, whatever, day 2, 3,
Right.
4. But then there's another saying, it goes like this, right? It's like the best laid plans never survive first contact, which just basically means like, yeah, you may have a plan in place, and there's stuff that'll happen that may derail the hell out of that and completely screw it up. But you at least took the time to make that plan, right? And so I think that becomes hugely important when you get to the end of your day, your week, your month, your year. You look back on it and you go, did I do the best I could with planning, knowing that things were going to derail that, but did I do the best I could to plan it so that I could achieve, or at least work toward, the goals that I
Right.
can plan? Yeah.
Got it. That's kind of powerful to think about, that living intentional. And I mean, nothing survives that first contact
Never.
usually, but I think, at least for first responders and veterans and other people in these kind of high performance type jobs, I think it's important that we have a plan. We can't always make every part of that plan, but have a plan, and then have a plan B for when everything
That's it.
goes sideways.
Right. What
So
do they say? Two is one and one is none.
right,
Right.
right.
So
And it's not about perfection.
no,
It
no, no.
it's about awareness and direction.
That's absolutely right.
Intentional living, people that kind of live in that world of intention, like fitness or leadership, um, how can you show that you're living intentionally? What are some of those areas?
So I think the number one thing is like lead by example, right? And that gets a lot of wordplay, and a lot of air gets blown around that. But here's what it kind of means to me, right? Lead by example means like that, even in our world, right? The military certainly, but law enforcement, the first responder world, there's a saying that goes, embrace the suck. And what does that mean? It means like, regardless of what happens, I've got to do the best that I can to not only show up, but to show up and lead my people and show them that, yeah, this time might be painful, and it might have its challenges, and it might, you know, start kind of dragging everybody down. But at the end of the day, you have to be, as the leader, you have to be the one that, you know, puts the bright spot in the crappy
Right,
cloud,
right,
right? You have to kind of frame everything so that those that you're leading look at you and go, "Hey, you know what? It might not be that bad,
right.
because look at how he's taking it, right?"
Sure.
It's not about like the misery part. It's about the, hey, how do we handle adversity? How,
Right.
how do we
How do we react
yeah,
to it?
how do we react? How do we move forward even though
Mhm.
it's challenging?
Right.
And there's a lot to be said about attitude in that vein, right? So if
Absolutely.
I show up and a problem exists, a problem A, and I walk into that problem, you have kind of two schools of thought with that. Either, man, this problem really sucks. Oh my God, it's the end of the world, doom and gloom. Or you can go, hey, this is an opportunity
Absolutely.
for us
Yep.
to grow and learn and figure out how to navigate that obstacle.
Sure.
And I think if you can present that side of it to the people that are around you,
Mhm.
whether you're leading them or not,
Right.
I think that provides them an opportunity to then do some introspection and go, hey, you know what? Everything doesn't have to be doing well.
No, no, I mean, it's so in our world, it's usually worst case scenario, and
Always.
it's really hard to stay on that motivated side. And given that, let's talk about motivation. Motivation versus discipline. Motivation is super sexy, right? It's
Hmm.
You make shirts about it, bumper stickers, you have mottos that you throw up on the wall. And I mean, we've got some down in the gym
Hmm.
that get changed from time to time on the whiteboard,
Yeah.
but you know, motivation doesn't last,
Nope.
but discipline does.
Yeah.
How do you define the difference between motivation and discipline?
So I would say like motivation is like the gasoline, right? Motivation is the gasoline. You put the gasoline in your gas tank, it starts the car, right? The car's running. The discipline, though, is how many miles that car can go on that tank of gas, right?
Gotcha.
So, motivation is temporary.
Hmm.
The discipline is what carries you through the long run.
Right. It's
Okay.
you can be motivated to go work out or go for a walk, but you're not always motivated.
No, no. Oh, hell no. I think probably well, I mean, we're toward the new year, right? So how many times do you walk in the gym after the beginning of the new year and it's packed? There's all kind of people there and you start looking and as the weeks unfold, right?
Yeah.
Get into the middle of February, there's
Yep.
fewer and fewer by March. You're like, oh, hey, where'd all those people go?
Yeah.
Motivation is a great thing. It's a great tool, but motivation without discipline is worthless.
Yeah. Motivation itself doesn't pull the pounds
It
off
does
you.
not.
It's discipline and consistency.
Absolutely.
Motivation doesn't build muscle.
Nope.
It doesn't make you be able to run further. It's that discipline and consistency that
And
does that.
and you know what? The discipline is also the part that, and you and I have talked about this extensively. You can't outrun a bad diet, right?
No,
Right.
no.
So the discipline part is what makes you eat the right things.
Hmm.
Um, and you put it really well one day when you came in. I still it kind of resonates with me. Even though I've seen it before, it just kind of was like, oh wow, that was yeah, absolutely. It's do you eat food for the enjoyment and the taste of it, or do you eat the food for the benefit and the performance aspect that it gives you in your workout, right?
Yep. Eat to get big.
That's it.
I don't eat for fun. No.
Right. So, but yeah, but
I
I mean,
mean,
that's
yeah,
the difference,
it
right?
is.
It's
It
like,
is.
man, I really want that, whatever. Or I got to eat this stuff I've been eating the same day every day for the last 5 months.
Right.
The discipline is what allows you to continue eating the
Sure.
stuff you maybe aren't a fan of. And the end result is that you achieve more than was possible with just, willy-nilly stuff in your face. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Have you ever seen anybody get stuck in this like plateau or in this funk because they're waiting on motivation
Yeah.
and they don't
Oh,
realize that consistency and discipline's where it's at?
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's when I was training folks pretty consistently for a couple years, I would have folks come in and say, hey, I'm doing this workout, but nothing's happening. And my first question would be like, okay, where's your nutrition? Right? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you following the plan in totality, or are you just following parts of the plan that you feel like are going to get you where you need to go, right?
Sexy
The
stuff.
sexy stuff,
Yeah.
right? I'm working out 3 times a week or 6 times a week or whatever it is. And then you start asking about the nutrition and it's like, okay, so you're supposed to be getting this many macros, right?
Right.
This much protein, this much carbohydrate, this much fat, keeping all of that within check. Are you doing that? And then every time without fail, the answer was no.
Oh,
Right.
absolutely.
Every
Yeah.
single time. Like,
And you can lie
look,
to yourself, but everybody knows.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember one client in particular I had, and she lost a ton of weight in a very short period of time. But I asked her what she was eating, and she was like, kale. And I was like, that's it? Kale? And she was like, yeah, kale. And I was like, that has like zero
Yeah.
nutritional value.
Right. Right.
So all this weight loss, when you start eating again, and you will, because your body is either going to shut down or it's going to say, feed me. And once you do that, your body fat percentage is now going to go way up higher than it was when you
Right.
originally started because you've been starving yourself for that long.
Sure.
So I think that's where the discipline comes in. Motivation kind of gets you off of your butt,
Right.
right? Hey, I need to do this, but the discipline is what provides the results in the long.
Yeah. The discipline's when you get home and you need to go to the gym and you just don't want to go, but you still lace up and head out and go to the gym.
Yeah.
So
Or in my case, you get up at, the crack of before dawn and
right.
you're sitting there going, man, I do not want to lace up, but I gotta do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's either side.
So talking about discipline, I know that I spend a fair amount of time. Like for me, I know that I have logged every meal and snack that I've had for the last 550 days. It's like 557. I know exactly how many because it's in the app. Everything that goes in, um, it takes discipline to do that. And sometimes I don't feel like entering it, and I have to make myself. But so that kind of discipline has become part of my identity. Do you think that being disciplined, say in one area of your life, starts to transcend into other and transfer into other portions of your identity in
Absolutely. I
life?
think there's a lot of power in that self-discipline, right? And another saying I bring from my background was, discipline yourself so no one else has
Yeah.
you. And I think that we don't always succeed at that, but the goal, the driving force behind pretty much everything I do is like, if I don't keep myself in check, I can't expect somebody else to.
Right.
And generally speaking, when somebody else has to put you in check, that's not really a good thing, right?
Right. Right.
There's a lot of consequence to that.
Sure.
So, but I feel like if you have the self-discipline in one area, you start to see the benefit long term of having that disciplined outlook. I believe you can start at that point, you start looking at other areas of life or daily living or whatever, and you can be like, hey man, you know what? I've been able to apply that self-discipline in this area. Oh, I can do it over here. And you
Mhm.
start and so it's kind of that self-development thing where, you can start looking at other categories that might need a little bit of attention,
Right.
and you can start kind of putting plans together and figuring out how you're going to stay accountable in those areas as well.
So
So,
it's a journey.
yeah, from fitness to
Not it's
finance to
it's not a
everything.
sprint
No,
to the finish line.
what do you say all the time? It's a marathon, not
It's
a
yeah,
sprint,
it's a marathon,
right?
man. It's, a little bit better every day.
Absolutely.
I love that discipline has become part of my identity and a part of yours. And I think that one of the things that's really important, especially for first responders, and it doesn't matter if you're a first responder or second responder, like firefighter. Just kidding.
My dad will love that. Older
Anyway,
brother.
I think that people in our world, um, when they can become disciplined, it's tough, man. When you're working shift work and
Mhm.
you're on call, you're getting called out, it's really tough. But I think if you create that discipline in at least just one small area of your life, it'll start multiplying.
Yeah, and like here's the I mean, if we take all of the fluff we've talked about over the last 15 minutes or so and you cut it down to one thing, it kind of goes like this, right? Excuses, everybody has them.
Mhm.
Everybody has an excuse of why you can't do something.
Right.
The discipline is finding the reason to do it.
Absolutely. The why.
The why.
Yep.
Why am I doing this? And is it important enough for me to keep doing this? There you go. Simple, easy.
Well, what's one discipline that you've built in your life that it has changed other facets of your life?
Oh gosh. I would say probably just the discipline to continually, I hate to put it this way, but it is what it is. I fight myself every day,
Yeah.
right? Like I fight me every single day, um, just to try and improve a little bit.
Hmm.
And it doesn't, every morning I get up, I make my bed, I do all that. I'll do a little reading, might watch a little morning news, and then I start thinking through my day, right? And then by the time I'm getting in the shower, I'm looking myself in the mirror and I'm going, okay, what can we do today to be better than we were yesterday? And it
Yeah.
might not be something hugely
Yeah.
significant or giant or huge, but it just might, hey man, you know what? I'm going to get to work a little bit earlier. I'm going to I've spent a little more time in the book instead of messing around on my phone. I'm going to make sure that I, get my nutrients in that I need,
Hmm.
right? Um, Sometimes it's those little things though that incrementally add up over time. And I think
Right.
that's where people I think get lost is they think about, you know, okay, here's where I want to go. And it's this big picture. And now I've got to make all these changes right now to get there. And you don't. It's just, taking those little tiny individual steps
Yeah.
and having that positive self-talk. I think a lot of time it's super easy to be negative to yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
You question,
Yeah, we talk about this
yeah,
all the time.
yeah. Am I the right person for this
Right.
role? Am I doing the right things? You know, why don't I feel all of the enthusiasm to do this? Sometimes again, it's just about showing up,
Hmm.
Hey, showing up is half the battle. If you can put your shoes on and get to where you're supposed to be, you're there.
Yeah.
What happens from there, you've already accomplished so much. So,
Right.
sometimes it's like maybe I lace my shoes a little nicer. Maybe I'll fix this one shoestring.
Right.
Maybe, when I polish my boots, I'm gonna polish them a little bit better. You know, I'm going to press my uniform. You know, it's just those
Sure.
little tiny things that I
Yep.
think make those incremental steps to get you where you want to go.
Well, it's let's look at fitness for an example. You know, developing that discipline and consistency to start working towards a fitness goal.
Hmm.
The first time somebody walks up and goes, "Hey, you look great," that builds that self confidence
Absolutely.
and it fuels that motivation that in turn causes that discipline to show up. And
Hmm.
I love that about being intentional and creating intentional habits.
Absolutely. I mean, I listen. It, we're people are egocentric,
Right.
right? By nature. Uh, that doesn't mean we all walk around with, big old, hey, look at me thing. But
Right.
when someone takes the time to walk up and go, hey, you know what? I see your discipline. And that's what that is.
Yeah.
I see your discipline
That's what
and
they're
it's
saying.
paying
Yep.
off, right?
Yep.
Boom. That's huge. That's
Yeah.
a huge win.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about habits. Habits are where intention and discipline are built.
Mhm.
It's those little changes that you do consistently that leads to that discipline. Why are habits more important than goals?
Because habits are what allow you to achieve the goal, right? So here's a little thing. I learned this years ago when I was training. It takes 21 days to develop a habit. Okay. So for 21 days, whether it's a good habit or a bad habit,
Right.
after 21 days,
It's a habit.
psychologically, that's a habit. Um, when you build those habits, so say I'm trying to, for example, I've been sick for like the last month,
Right,
right? And
right.
it's been horrible because I haven't been able to work out. When I do work out, I get sick again. So for people like us, the habit is getting down there and getting some iron lifted, right? Moving
Right.
some weights. It makes me it just there's everything about that makes me feel
Mhm.
better. It relaxes me. My body's getting some work. I feel like I can handle stress
It's your
better.
therapy,
It's
man.
my it's my
Yeah.
yeah, it's my zen. And when I don't get to do that, what it does, because we have built that habit, when I don't get to do that, I miss it, right?
You get a little cranky too.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I get cranky and I
Yeah.
miss it. So I think habits, the difference between habits is goals are something long term you're trying to achieve. The habits, the intentionality, those are the things that help you to achieve that goal long term, right? And that's why I think anybody that's worth their salt consistently over life develops goals, puts in place the intentionality and habits to get there, sets new goals, right? That's a never ending process.
Yeah, it doesn't stop.
Right.
Yeah.
If it does,
Right.
you're not doing it right.
Right.
So
I think that habits are the system that we put in place to reach those
yeah,
goals.
absolutely.
It's systemic.
Right.
It's everything that goes into reaching that goal.
Hmm.
So, people often try to. I guess one of the things that I've seen, and I've done it before, I've been guilty of it, is, I'm going to do, that New Year's resolution. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, and they make these big lofty goals, but they don't have that system or those habits in place, and they fail. Um, does it is it because they didn't have intention? Is it because they didn't develop the habits? They just set the goal? I mean, what causes people to fall off right there?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of things, right? I think, especially after the new year, lots of people set goals. That's great. I mean,
Right.
like keep doing that. The problem is the micro environments
Mhm.
that one needs to establish to create the systems and the intentionality to
Mhm.
reach those goals. That's where it fails, right?
Yeah.
It's like any personal trainer will tell you when you get a new client, if you ask them what are your goals and they tell you, I want to lose weight. That's the most ridiculous goal
Right.
ever, right? It's like, what does that mean? What do you mean by I want to lose weight? Does that mean you want to lose inches? Does that mean you want to become more lean? You want to become more fit? You want to become more muscular? What does it mean? And I think that's where the translation gets lost in goal setting, right? It's like, hey, I want to make my savings grow by $10,000 this year. And then they leave it at that. And by the end of the year, we're like, well, my savings didn't grow this year, right? It's setting in place those systems and accountability for those systems that allow you to incrementally reach that goal. So the habits have to be there,
Mm.
the intentionality has to be there, and you have to take that goal and break it down into the manageable steps or a plan, right? Which you talked
Right.
about earlier,
Right.
a plan in which to achieve that goal.
And I think is where people fall off.
It
I
is.
think
It
that,
is.
I wanna save $10,000 this year. That's a that's a great
Great goal.
goal, but how are we gonna get there?
Exactly.
You know, it's like saying I wanna drive from Kansas City to New York, but you don't have a map and you don't have that trip plotted out. Or I mean, we don't use maps anymore, it's GPS, but back in maybe our day, it was maps. But I think that when people don't have those habits like charted out to get to that goal, they're going to fall. They're never going to be able to develop that consistency, discipline, and accountability.
Absolutely.
What is a small habit? If you were going to tell somebody what's a small habit they could change in one area of your life that might change every aspect of their life over time.
What is it? Get less sleep, do more work.
I don't think that's it, is it?
No, I don't know. We all have the same 24 hours in a day,
We do.
right?
We do.
And I would say that when I look out across society, and this is no knock on anything, but it's just there are a lot of people out there that, I want to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep, which you should get.
Right.
I get it. Um, but I think like you again, setting intentions and habits,
Right.
right? The most successful people that have lived in our society,
Hmm.
you know what the one thing they didn't worry about a whole lot was?
What's that?
Getting 8 to 10 hours of sleep a night,
Right.
right? It was like, but it wasn't just for lack of like, I don't want to get sleep. It was because they had other stuff to do
Right.
that because of intentionality and habit that made them in the discipline that made them like, hey, I got to get this done and this done and this done and this done and this done.
Right.
Um, so I think like it starts with that, right? Don't get, yeah, sleep is very important. I love sleep. I know you like sleep.
Right.
And we all like sleep. But, you know, if my alarm is set for 5 a.m., then I need to get up at
Get up.
5
Yeah,
a.m., right?
absolutely.
I got to get
Yep.
the day going. If it's set, there's the chronic button pusher, right?
Yeah.
We all know them. 5 a.m., oop, 5:10, oop, 5:20, oop, 5:30. Pretty soon your whole morning's gone. And
Right.
all you got left is, well, I'm going to jump in the shower, get dressed, and go to work.
Yeah, you're back to that reactive living.
That's it. That's it. The other folks are like, hey, I got up at 5. I did my morning routine. I got some reading, some self-development in.
Hmm.
I had some time to get down to the gym. I got my morning macros, my morning nutrients. I'm off on to the day.
Right.
And yeah,
For me, I think that's the biggest thing that helps me. And I'm right now my schedule's a little off because I'm doing the ETMS. That
Mhm.
we'll talk about ETMS in later episodes. But so that's kind of messed up my morning a little bit,
Yep.
and so it's thrown off my schedule some. But me getting up and spending time reading and just getting my head right, taking my vitamins, getting my protein in the morning, a
Yep.
little bit of carbs, and then getting ready and heading out the door is so critical for me to start the day because I am taking charge of my day.
Right.
And I know you have a similar
I
routine.
do. Yeah.
Um, how do positive habits in one area of your life, like say physical training, carry over into like mental toughness or
Oh,
leadership?
I like that one. I like that. That's a good question. I like that one. So you tell me who us included, that really deep down enjoys getting up and lifting heavy crap and putting ourselves through like pain first thing in the day.
Well, that would be you.
Yeah, that is me, but I don't like it,
Right.
right? I'm not a fan of it.
Right.
It's not like my favorite thing to do. Um, I'm tired. When I get up in the morning, I'm tired and I don't want to, especially, right now it's winter time here where we're at. You got the cold weather, and, all kind of reasons why I'm stiff. Oh, this or oh, that or oh. That when you overcome that and you still make yourself, and that's what it comes down to, right? Self-discipline. I am making myself do X. I still take myself out of the comfort zone, throw on my shoes, walk down the stairs with my little shaker bottle of whatever I've got that morning. It might be, amino acids and creatine or a protein shake or whatever. When you do that, and I've found myself actually doing this more as I've gotten older too, the pride that I feel in the fact that I did that
Hmm.
at 56 years of age
Yeah,
and knowing how many 56-year-old people are actually still doing that.
sure.
I mean, that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty good ego boost,
Yeah,
right?
it
Getting
is.
back to
It
that
is.
egocentric thing, it's like
Yeah.
I'm looking at myself, making myself suffer in the morning, hopefully so that later in life, I don't have to suffer as much
Right.
with uh, muscle atrophy and all the other things that come
Sure.
with aging, but also just the mental toughness that it takes to go through that pain. It just develops resilience.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
I mean, yeah. If I miss more than a couple sessions of gym in a week,
right.
it messes me up.
I know.
So
Yeah. We're sick. We're
yeah,
sick like that.
yeah. Self improvement. Everybody thinks that self improvement is about massive change, but it's not, is it? It's about little changes, and so that's what we kind of talked about. Is every one of those little changes that we make makes a big difference in other areas.
Yeah.
So somebody's watching this podcast, and they want to start living intentionally. Where should they begin?
Man, I would say like what, think about whatever what is your biggest, loftiest dream and goal? And whatever it is, write it down, right? Write it down. Don't do anything with it after that for a couple days, maybe a week even. Just write it down. And then come back to it, right? And look at it and make sure that is in fact your lofty goal. And from there, start developing a plan, right? Use a journal, think on it, meditate on it, contemplate it, put together a plan,
Research it.
research it,
Yeah.
see what steps, and don't discourage yourself. What steps do I need to get in place to make that an achievable goal, right? Like the old in sales, they always talk about the Ben Franklin close. You know what the Ben Franklin close is, right?
No.
So it's like, hey, this is going to cost this one. You see it on the ASPCA commercials,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah.
right there for $19 a day, which is only 60 or $19 a month, it's only 67 cents a day, which is, and they kind of break it down into the small manageable
Right.
chunks, which, it's a commercial, so whatever. But if you do that with your planning, if you break it down into its smallest common denominator and you can just achieve that one little piece a day,
Absolutely.
you start building those incremental wins, and then you have monthly wins, and you have biannual wins, and then you have yearly wins, and you have year over year wins.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that's the advice I would give. Set the goal, research it, think on it, figure it out, put together a plan, execute the plan.
Nice. What's one habit that you would tell somebody that's watching, that they could start today, tomorrow? Small habit, one little change to start working towards a fitness goal, a wellness goal, financial, spiritual, any of those goals. What's one thing if somebody's sitting there going, hey, I want to take charge of my health? What's
Mm-hmm.
one thing they can do?
Research. I would say start doing the research.
Yeah,
Research it, figure out what works for you. We're all different.
we
You
are.
know, if I weighed, and I'm just pulling a number out of the air here. If I was the height I am now, 350 pounds, maybe I would be like, hey, you know what I'm going to do today? I'm going to stand up
Yeah.
and I'm going to sit
Yep.
down. Right? That's day one. Day two, I'm going to stand up twice and sit down twice.
Small manageable
Small,
goals.
manageable goals.
Develop a habit.
That's it.
So, what would you say to someone who's failed before, that's tried it, failed, and said, this ain't for me. I really want to make some changes, but I don't know.
If you ain't failing, you ain't doing it right.
That's right.
That's
That's right.
That's what I would say.
It's not about perfection.
No.
It's one of the things I tell people when I'm coaching them is it's not about perfection. It's about showing up for you.
That's right. Yeah.
Showing up, getting it done. Might not be pretty, but what would you tell somebody?
I would say look at all of the people that you see as successful right? That are successful folks. Look at them. And then I defy you, go find a time in their life where they didn't fail.
Oh yeah.
The difference between people who succeed and people who don't,
Mhm.
the people succeed probably fail, and I think I saw this somewhere, at a higher rate than people that don't.
Mhm.
The difference is they keep going,
Right.
right? Oh crap, I didn't make it. What did I do wrong? Okay. I still want to get there, reset, replan, refigure out, and then started attacking that goal again.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Never give up.
Never give up, never quit, ever, 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 never.
Dennis, thanks very much for being here. It's been a great conversation. I think that, living with intention, it's helps to build discipline, creates positive habits. It isn't flashy, but
It's
it's
not. It's
transformational.
not. Yep.
So wrap up, Dennis. What kind of thought would you like to leave our viewers with?
Just, be positive, know what you want to achieve, make a plan to get there, and then execute that plan. I mean, that's it. Like, don't be too hard on yourself. None of us are
Yeah.
perfect,
Yeah.
right?
That
We will never.
little voice in the
Yeah,
background that's
it's
negative. Yeah.
always right. You just ignore that guy. I mean, listen to him a little bit, because when you're building your plan, he's kind of telling you the pitfalls you may or may not succumb to.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, ignore it, right? Set your goals, build your plan, execute your plan. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it, and keep driving forward. Just don't quit. That's we say that in the Marine Corps all the time. Don't quit. Don't quit. Your brothers are relying on you. Your sisters are relying on you. Your country's relying on you. Never quit.
Awesome.
If something happens that stops you, that's out of your control, got it. But you know what? At the end of the day, when you look yourself in the mirror, you can say genuinely, I didn't quit.
Powerful, man. That's good.
That's
That's
it.
good. Look, everybody listening, choose one habit this week, something that you can do, and decide when you're going to do it, why you want to do it. That why, as we talked about in the last episode, is so important, what your purpose is. Make that choice of what that habit is, why it is, and who you'll become by keeping that promise to yourself, and keep that promise. Thank you for tuning in. And remember, this is Iron and Intention. Train with purpose, live with discipline, and be a positive influence on yourself and those around you. We'll see you next time.